All right, get a loser. We're going healing. You're not ugly, but social media just ruined your perception of beauty. So this summer and last summer, I started wearing way less makeup. I'm talking like nothing, like not even concealer to hide my dark circles. And it made me realize that, like, why did I used to care about wearing makeup to hide my insecurities so much before, as though it was like a life sentence? I don't know if it's about like an age thing that I'm like approaching 30s, but I feel way more confident without makeup. And I was watching this podcast episode the other day by Emma Chamberlain, and she was basically talking about how like our obsession with our looks is worsening over time. And I felt like there is nothing more real than that. It's genuinely the one thing that just needs to be talked about more. And I feel like a lot of people are not really aware. We're just stuck in a system that's always trying to convince us that we need to fix something about ourselves in order to feel worthy or to feel pretty. We care so much about having like a teeny tiny little waist, but we don't necessarily care about if our nervous system is healed or if our gut is healthy. I genuinely now go to the gym more just to focus on how I feel and not necessarily how I look. And by the way, I've deleted my Instagram account, like my Instagram app, for this sole reason. It just got to a point where it was so freaking overwhelming for me. And my FYP, it's like things or people that are always trying to convince me that I need like the next filler trend or the next Botox trend. Or, whoa, like you're aging, like you're approaching 30. The algorithm is just going to try to like push you like anti-aging stuff. And you know, in one of AB Talks' podcast episodes, he had Karen Burson on the show, and he was basically saying like it's so freaking easy in this generation to grow up feeling unworthy and not enough. And it's so freaking easy for somebody that is not aware and is not conscious of the media that they're consuming. It's so freaking easy for them to fall short on self esteem. Nowadays, like you feel that social media is designed to make you feel less, to make you feel that you always need to fix something about yourself in order to be happy. The thing we don't really realize is that all of this is just a curated feed. Like it's all edited, it's all filtered. People intend to look the way that they look. They don't just wake up and roll out of bed and this is the way that they look. Social media is built to do this. It's built to take your time. How do you think it's gonna make money? To keep you scrolling, to keep you comparing yourself. Because they profit off of your insecurity. Mo Gaudet was actually talking about this also on AB Talks. I freaking love that show. I literally watched like all of the podcast episodes. And Mo Gaudet was basically saying like, we are so much more disconnected as a generation than we have ever been in our entire lives. We're being robbed for our time. It promised us connection, but ironically, we're getting this connection. Think about the time before social media that it was perfectly fine, so to say, to have like a not so tiny nose. And then ever since social media came on, it was almost like a taboo thing to post a picture of yourself without your nose contoured or without it looking like the tiniest thing on your face. You don't have big lips. You'd be prettier if, you know, you straightened your teeth and you got veneers and you did all this work to make your face look like as like society's beauty standards. It taps into the people with the deepest fears that they're not enough. They don't feel worthy if they're not pretty. If I don't fit in and if I don't look the way that all these other girls are looking on social media, then I don't deserve to post a photo. I don't feel like I will deserve to be seen because I'm not like perfect. I feel like there's a very fine line between, for example, taking care of your hygiene. Like nobody can disagree with that. You know, your skincare and working out and stuff like that. Not necessarily using them to cover up your insecurities. I also saw this video of this other girl. She was basically talking about how because we spend so much freaking time on social media, our minds have been reprogrammed or like rewired to see that small nose, big lips, perfect teeth, as though this is what's ideal and this is what's like beautiful. And the reason why you see that this girl is attractive is only because your mind was programmed to it, and now it almost feels like unacceptable to be different. Like maybe it really was that damn phone. Maybe our parents were right. Peer pressure is just so real, and the way that it affects all these like young people from the young generation is just so sad to see, honestly. So it's like, why aren't we just like conscious enough to chase something that we're not even sure ourselves it will make us feel adequate and will make us feel like confident? We wonder why as a generation we feel so empty and we're so anxiety filled and we're so disconnected from ourselves. And you know, like in my early 20s, because I was so self-conscious, I never felt truly confident, even though like 1,000 people could tell me that. inside I always felt like something was missing. Like, so freaking self-conscious of like my teeth, that I don't have like the straightest teeth in the world. And this one girl, like she was like standing at a kiosk and she was like, damn, like you're really beautiful, like you have such like ethereal features. And I never really believed her at the time. And now thinking back, like looking back at this instance, I'm like, what if I really am pretty? You're so used to your features when you look in the mirror, your mind is reprogrammed to a certain like ideal look. But people that are not necessarily wired to think that way or to see that as the beauty standard, so this is why they might see you beautiful, maybe as the most beautiful person in the world. And it also goes the same for if you, for example, feel beautiful and other people that have a certain idea of beauty in their head will see you as really ugly. And that will really mess with your self-esteem if you already have those insecurities to begin with. We're still so much more worthy as humans, regardless of how we look like. Maybe it's just our perceptions of beauty that have just been messed up because of the amount of time that we spend on social media. It really doesn't matter if we look perfect or not. Like, for sure, as any girl would, I love like the makeup and the fashion and the little glam moments. But it's not in these moments that define our worth or define our beauty. Or it has to be like the standard that we have to be every single day, feel worthy or in order to feel enough or complete. Why are we so obsessed with our appearances when there are so many more things we should be obsessing over and like should really be paying attention to? Are we like physically the healthiest we can possibly be? Are we emotionally the healthiest? Are we mentally the healthiest? Are we socially the healthiest? Are we really aligned with ourselves enough to be on the path that we're really meant to be in life? Finding out our true calling in life? Or are we just going to keep chasing everyone's highlight reel? So this is the mindset shift that you need on this. We need to stop letting social media define our worth. We need to stop letting our face define our worth. We need to do like more detoxes of like social media, train our brain to not compare as much. And like the most important aspect or like point of this all is to first focus on your inner world. Work on or heal the things that need attention on the inside. Like, you genuinely do not need to buy any more. You do not need to buy any more makeup. You do not need to follow any more beauty trends. You do not need to buy the trendiest skincare right now in the market. Like, you do not need to buy more into looking pretty. You don't need to do more. You just need to do less. You're not pretty because of the amount of likes that you get on a post, not because of a filter, because this is the way that God created you. If he created you that way, then he already sees you as pretty and as worthy. He created you like that for a reason. Why do you think God didn't create us all to look the same? Why do you think there's diversity? Why do you think we all have different skin colors and different eyebrows and different eyes and different teeth? He wants you to look that way. And because he wants you to look that way, maybe it's time for you to accept and to see the beauty in the way that you look. So next time you go on social media and you see like all these like standards trying to convince you to get all of these things, to have the right body, to have the perfect face, to have the perfect hair, to live the most glamorous life ever, the right smile, make sure that you remind yourself of this, that even when you don't have all these things, you're still worthy. You still deserve to post a picture. You still deserve to be seen. You're still loved. You're still accepted. And most importantly, work on your fears. Work on the insecurities. If you have an insecurity or like you're conscious about some things, in your body or in your face, why is it that you feel that way? Is it, because of a childhood wound? Is it something that somebody has said while you were growing up that really stuck with you, and ever since then you've been trying to prove them wrong? Maybe it's the voice inside of your head that you see yourself with telling you that you're not enough. For instance, like, make sure that you fix your inner voice first before you go and fix your teeth, or before you go and get that surgery, before you go and get that nose job. Because at the end of the day, don't forget that your brain lies to you a lot.